Yes, it is another episode of the Auto Windbags. I'm RJ Hisoto. Let's have some fun today. Bringing in the big guns. Our good friend, you can hear him on SiriusXM's Fight Nation. Lives in Las Vegas. He did cover the Raiders on the radio, but he is a Bears fan. Ryan McKinnell joining us now. What's up, buddy?
Oh, just mourning my White Sox here on this fine Friday, hanging out in a time warp of 1992 at this Best Western in Sacramento as I get ready to see Metallica tonight. So something really awesome happening tonight with Metallica, something not so awesome happening today with the White Sox, and we'll see what happens on Sunday, RJ, because I don't know how any of us are feeling about our respective teams as we head into this matchup. That's what we're talking for. We're talking it out. This is therapy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, also, I just want to let you know that, I've never thought that the Holiday Inn Express in Las Vegas would look superior to wherever you're at, but I think I got you beat. Best Western, Holiday Inn Express. Not to my own horn.
Soto, you can speak to this on RJ's end. Our cheapness binds us. Mm-hmm. It's a unifier.
Yeah. You guys are linked by the freaking dick, for sure.
Will
say this, Ryan. I will say one thing before we start. I shouted out your White Sox. I've been to 2 White Sox games, and I have not seen more fights than at White Sox games. He's laughing because he knows, and they're fighting each other. And they're fighting each other.
Yeah,
they're not fighting other fans. They're fighting each other.
Yeah, no, the majority of any of the serious balls, I've seen Vikings Bears fights, I've seen Packers Bears fights, but the worst fights, the worst shit talk, the worst anything that I've ever experienced was always Cubs and White Sox when it was Chicago versus Chicago. It's just I don't know what it is. I haven't been banned from games, but I've been at games with my buddies who have been subsequently banned. Started "Let's Go White Sox" chants in the jail beneath Comiskey. Life as a White Sox fan is chaotic inside of the stadium and outside of the stadium. I wish they would have got it done today.
Yeah, Raiders fans don't burn those kind of calories. They just stab.
Quick.
Why?
In and out.
You know what I mean? Just get
I'm bleeding.
By the time you figure out you've been stabbed, like 5 other people have switched off the knife. That thing's way out. That thing's in the park.
It reminded me of the Real World skit in Chappelle show where they shank old boy in the by the pool table and they pass it around and hits him with the "I'm bleeding" Tron. The good old days.
So Sunday afternoon game, Raiders Bears here in Las Vegas. Raiders 5-point favorites, which was considering the problems that both teams have had, I guess it makes some sense. But at least we have a steady quarterback, not just a steady quarterback. That Derek Carr is leading the league in passing yards, and you've got the first true start of Justin Fields, your rookie this year. I know how high you were on Justin Fields, Ryan. What do you make of him and his limited play so far? And are you confident that on Sunday in this particular game, he would play better than Andy Dalton?
Well, first of all, let's get this straight. I was high on the idea of Justin Fields, right? when the Bears traded up in that draft, I was convinced they were going to take Mac Jones. They're going to take the big, tall, white guy. Of course they're going to do that. They're going to take the kid from Alabama. They're going to do what they've always done. It's going to be Chicago Bears football now until eternity, and I'm going to be yelling sad and angry for that eternity into hell in which we all live, right? Mm-hmm. Then they didn't. So for me, it was a signaling of potentially what could be a new future, of what the Bears could be doing for the next 10, 20, 30 years, which is, adapting with the game, not just cold weather football and running backs, which all due respect to cold weather football, Soldier Field, and running backs, the Chicago Bears have managed all that very well. But they haven't won a Super Bowl since 1985. So to answer your question about Sunday, which I think is a really good question, no, I think Andy Dalton's more equipped to beat the Las Vegas Raiders on Sunday. But Andy Dalton is not the quarterback of the future, RJ. Yeah. Justin Fields is. So you get him the reps now and you hope for the best. And if you're a bettor, you hope you cover that 5.
I remember when I was in my late teen years, early 20 years, and I was just kind of just dating to whatever dumb hot chick was around that time. And my dad was I'd bring some of them around, and my dad would be like, "Okay, RJ, as long as you understand, there's the right girl and the right now girl. As long as you understand the difference, you'll be fine." And I did, and I married the best woman in the world. that's kind of like Andy Dalton and Justin Fields. Like Andy Dalton, I think, is the right now girl, but Justin Fields could potentially be the right girl.
I would completely agree with that. And here the good news is Fields, with the confidence he did, he was asked, hey, in 10 years, could you see yourself as the starter of the Chicago Bears? He's like, I don't know if any of us are going to be on this planet in 10 to 15 years, let alone me being the starter of the Chicago Bears.
That's not a very football guy comment. You know what I mean?
No, it's not. That's a great point.
That's way too deep for a Bears player. You know what I mean? Yeah. What is life exactly? Socrates said, it's like, come on, be a football guy. Just be football-y about it.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm sure there were some hardcore Chicago football fans who were like, "That's not my quarterback. Where's that nihilism? Where's the positive spirit?" I don't know. Yeah. I loved it. I'm sure you're really surprised, knowing my personality, that I was tickled pink by Justin Fields' words about his playing career. I loved the existential sort of what he was throwing around there. But no, I mean, again, Dalton is better to win, more equipped to win on Sunday. I don't think anybody can question that. You look at his numbers throughout his career, going back to Cincinnati. In fact, I think he's one of the more underrated quarterbacks of his generation, right? We never really got to see just how good he could have been. And with Green and what he was able to accomplish, I mean, he did have weapons there. I don't want to make it sound like, but what he would have done with a better defense, what he would have done with, potentially, like I said, better offensive weapons, a better tight end. All that aside. A better organization, sure.
We had this conversation when last season with Joe Burrow, and you're like, "Oh, I think he's awesome. I think he's great." I'm like, yeah. I'm with you, but it's one thing to be great in New England, Pittsburgh, these solid franchises that have had this tradition of winning recently, and being good in Cincinnati, being good on the Jets, being good on the Giants, like that's another level.
Being good on the Bears, Jay Cutler.
That Chicago has been where quarterbacks' careers go to die. And so when they drafted Justin Fields, I saw how happy you were. Like, this is a change of pace. And I get it, right? Something different, not just some corn-fed 6'4" white boy. Let's try something different, right?
The idea that you're looking to the future and what the game might be shifting to, not just staying stuck in your ways. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's the thing is like the Raiders defense. Like, we've had a top 10 defense twice in 30 years. For Gus Bradley to make this defense average, oh my God. Like, that's unbelievable. Like, Raiders fans are going nuts that we're an average defense, right? If we were the Bears defense, you'd be like, oh man, they fell off. Like, this isn't great. Like, we're barely average.
The sky's falling.
We're doing backflips. Like, we're shooting fireworks out of the black hole. We're so jacked. So
hey, at least we appreciate it. I appreciate a good quarterback. You appreciate a good defense, because absence makes the heart grow fonder.
And so that's what kind of like the long story short, it's like, what are your expectations for Justin Fields this season, next season? Like, what would be
setup?
Yeah. What would be wonderful? What would be satisfactory? What would be a failure?
A Super Bowl. If he brings a Super Bowl to that city, Jim McMahon has been living off that Super Bowl, drinking Miller Lights and getting free eighths of like his favorite indica, right? We know Jim's a big follower of the green medicine. Jim's been living off that win for 30 plus years, right? If Justin Fields can bring, and keep in mind, the gaps between championships, I mean, sweetness was still on that team. Winning was still very much a part of that culture. Winning is not a part of Chicago Bears culture. I don't know winning. All I know is pain, torment, torture, sadness, anger, frustration, right? That's all I know. If Justin Fields, like, I was looking for a way to cheer for Jay Cutler. I have a Jay Cutler jersey. Do you know how fucking sick we are? Sorry, I don't know if we can. Do you know how sick and messed up we are? Like, that is the most twisted way I can put it. I hate Jay Cutler. But I wanted to. So if Justin Fields can get a Super Bowl, bring it to Chicago, he can go 17 tutties and 17 picks and 2,500 yards for the rest of his career. It won't matter. He'll still be a god. So my expectations are that the Bears are committed to him, that he is our quarterback for the next 6 to 10 years. Hopefully it's 10. Hopefully in the first 6 he gets a Super Bowl. Probably not by his play. Hopefully it's more by the threat of what he brings to the game. Obviously aligned with that historically great defense. Thank you. Hopefully Khalil Mack. We'll see if he'll be playing on Sunday. But no, it really expectations, we have none, RJ. We have none. Chicago Bears fans have zero expectations at quarterback. Shane Matthews, Rex Grossman, Cade McNown, Cordell Stewart, like run down the list. Obviously, Jay Cutler and the myriad that we've had recently. Glennon, we signed Glennon for like a $17 million deal, and that was like 6 years ago. It just the absurdness of what we've had to deal with really lowers our expectations in terms of that specific position. I'm not saying there aren't expectations to win. I mean, this is a team that's been to an NFC championship in the last 10 years. Obviously, it was in the Super Bowl 15 years ago. They've won their division. They are a good team. They're not a great team. The idea is the threat of Justin Fields, what he brings to the table. Obviously, he's green, but the upside, we don't know. The excitement there, I think, RJ, is there for the first time in a really long time, especially at that position.
Is the excitement there for Justin Fields himself, or because he's different?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's what I said to start this, right? It's the idea that the Bears were looking in a different direction, because if you are a Bears fan, if you know anything about the Chicago Bears, I brought it up, right? Cold weather running backs in Soldier Field. They build around that defense. When I say so, you know what I mean? Like they build around those sort of tenets, and they very rarely waver from essentially you dance with who brought you, right? And the Bears have been doing that for 100 years. The game is changing. We all know that. And I'm not talking just about, you can talk about the racial implications of what bringing a black quarterback to Chicago is. And I think that's a whole different dialogue, and we probably don't have enough time to get into that. But just as an exciting guy who can potentially stretch the field, cannon arm, good accuracy, young, the hope is there. And then obviously you look at what's happening in the league just with the Russell Wilsons, right? The Dak Prescotts, obviously Pat Mahomes. And it so happens I bring up all of them are African-American. That's not even what I'm saying in this regard. Roethlisberger, when he came in, he was a mobile quarterback, right? He had the ability to move even though he was a bigger guy. Derek Carr at different points can stretch the field, right? He's not a slouch. The dude can move down the field and present you different looks. Jay Cutler was that way. He was able to stretch the field a little bit. It was one of the reasons why I thought he was so successful in Chicago. Fields is an entirely different monster. He's cut from an entirely new generation of player, and that's what you want if you're a fan of any team, right? Damn the Chicago Bears, damn the Las Vegas Raiders. If you're a team, you want something that you can build into the future, and hopefully Justin Fields is that player in Chicago.
I feel like Jay Cutler was right on the fence of fans embracing him, but the thing that tipped him over was he had the dude version of a resting bitch face, and that's just okay, that's it. Can't have that. You're not good enough to be able to deal with that and make me think that's normal. Put him over. He did have it.
Yeah, it was Smoking Jay, right? He had the sullen eyes and the just general displeasure of being paid $20 million a year. I don't disagree.
Self-satisfaction of being,
but you can't if you watch the games he played. The dude took crazy hits because he was often on very bad teams at different points. Well, not very bad teams, really bad offensive lines, lots of injuries, different transitions, players playing out of position, really bad stuff for Jay for a lot of years. And he just got the shit kicked out of him, and he kept coming back for more. For a while, he did. Now there were the Miami experiment. It was the end towards Chicago. I think he definitely was phoning it in. I think he was living the gimmick, as pro wrestling folks would say, right? He was really buying into the Smoking Jay gimmick. But for a while there, I think he went to an NFC championship. I think he really wanted to win there. And if it wasn't for Aaron Rodgers, he very well might have.
Well, there might be a record broken. Talking about bad offensive lines, there might be a record broken for most sacks in a game. The Bears O-line has given up 16 sacks this season. That's second most in the league. The Raiders, it was not announced officially this week, but they've been practicing for putting Alex Leatherwood, our first-round right tackle, at right guard. Both of our guards have been injured. So you've got essentially a brand new starter at center, backup left guard, a rookie right tackle playing right guard, and a right tackle that we haven't been able to put as a starter,
Brandon
Parker. So we have literally duct taped and baling wired an offensive line together, and then going up against Khalil Mack. Your offensive line's going up against Yannick Ngakoue, Max Crosby. Both our quarterbacks may end up on stretchers at the end of four quarters.
Dude, it's not just Mac. You think you got Quinn, too. Quinn's not a slouch. They lead the league in sacks. The Bears lead the league in sacks for a fucking reason. And it's not all Khalil Mack, let me tell you.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely not. Although he isn't getting a lot of the credit that I think he deserves, specifically this year. I think there's a lot of talk around Mac. He's always double teamed. You guys know this. He's always having the attention deflected to him, which opens up the line in very real ways. And RJ, you're not wrong. You got a beast out there in Las Vegas. We have a beast out here in Las Vegas with Max Crosby. I mean, you watch the kid play. He's as advertised. I mean, the entire what you see in I was going to say Oakland. What you see in Vegas is seemingly pretty legit. I know it's early in the season. It's legit in the sense that our offensive lines both need work, but it is when you look at what the defense brings, it's dangerous. Now, I will say this. On the Bears end, they're dealing with some injuries. Mack is questionable. He spoke today. It does look like he's going to play. Akeem. Yeah, he's going to play.
Not play the
and
Raiders,
then there's
not play John Gruden.
No,
come on. He's seeing that offensive line made of Swiss cheese, and he's just drooling. He's like, all right, I'm on crutches.
Let me ask you something, because we're in an era of LeBron James and the Banana Boat Boys in the NBA, and I understand that Mac was a Raider and he was close with Carr, but every time we play each other, and listen, this is going to be the fourth time these teams have met in 4 different cities, which is wild to me. Chicago, London, Oakland, and now Las Vegas, right? That's just so crazy. But the last time they met, which I think was the London game, Mac and Carr going back and forth on the buddy podium stuff. It just makes me sick. I want to see violence. I want to see anger. I want to see a fired up Khalil Mack. But no, man, I'm looking forward. I don't know. I don't think you asked me a question, but yeah.
Well, Derek Carr was throwing the friendship bombs at pressers this week, talking about how much he loves Khalil Mack, and I dunked on him, cool, rub. Please, Derek, please keep bringing that up. Do your secret friendship handshake. Talk about your camping trips together at summer camp. Get Khalil Mack on your good side, please. That'd be wonderful.
Well, John Gruden didn't do us any favors, dude. Freaking the Redskins fucked us over, and that email came out.
Yeah.
Freaking Mac should be pissed about that.
I wonder if he just hates him regardless.
I don't think he even talked to him. I don't think he even talked.
They never talked.
Poor John Gruden. Poor John Gruden is $10 million a year. I'm sure he'll weather the storm, just like Urban Meyer. Not to compare the two.
Well, what are they going to do? Fire him? It's a 10-year, $10 million.
He is the Raiders. No, he is the Raiders. Yeah. Derek Carr's gone before Gruden is. Max Crosby's gone before Gruden is. Pick a player on that roster. They're gone before John Gruden is. And it's what I said before they signed him, RJ. 10 years, $10 million, $100 million overall. Plus, we don't know if there's any back-end sweet deals or whatever promises have been made for the times after the 10 years is up. My point is this is a new era. A player was I forget the kid's name, the new returner in Chicago. There's a new returner in Chicago. They just signed him, right? They asked him what he knew about the Chicago Bears before he arrived, and he said Devin Hester. That's all I knew about Chicago. Do you know how nuts that is? I mean, yes, you do. We do, because we're old. We have gray in our beards, right? We know how insane that is. It's not Walter Payton, Dick Butkus, Gale Sayers, George Halas. Pick any number of Hall of Fame names. Mike Singletary, Richard Dent. It doesn't. Again, it doesn't. You can say anything. The first name out of your mouth is Devin Hester, which is one of the greatest Chicago Bears of all time. But it just shows you how much the league has changed and how quickly the league changes and what type of players are in the league today, right? It's wild to me when you think about that, and then you think about what we're dealing with in terms. Sorry, continue. You were asking a question.
Well, I was just going to move on to some injuries. So you've got your David Montgomery injured.
Yeah.
Right. 2 tight ends, Jesse James, JP Holtz. These are all people that are for sure out. Bad run game to begin with. Offensive line that's giving up sacks. We have 2 starting corners that are out, Mullen and Arnett, and our third tight end's out as well. Basically, our backup running back Peyton Barber's out. So it's basically we're both kind of in the same boat. Trash O-lines, run games that aren't going to go anywhere. And so it's going to be a game of which quarterback can put the game on their shoulders and make the least amount of mistakes. Maybe that's where that -5 Raiders came from, if that's what it comes down to.
Oh, I don't think there's any question, especially as you said, in a game like this where injuries are going to be so prevalent, it's going to be adapting quarter by quarter, right? And it's exactly what you said. When you get to that point, it's all about the little things. It's all about the mistakes, because most likely this is going to be like a 17-21 game. I really do believe that. When you think about the defense, you think about the inefficiencies and the injuries that people are going to be dealing with. Now, I will say at running back, yes, having David Montgomery out of the game hurts, but Damien Williams is a credible threat back there, at least from what we've seen to start the season. Now, how much of that was also having David Montgomery up there to take a little bit of the load off? We'll see. But I like what I've seen from Williams. Aside from that, though, no, you're spot on. You're spot on. Injuries are going to be a huge story as we head into 1 o'clock on Sunday. And it can be said about the little things a lot. Like, those are the things that win games, and it's a game of inches. And Al Pacino give them the any given Sunday speech, but it goes double for a game like Raiders Bears on Sunday, because it's early in the season. You're dealing with a lot of inexperience, especially under center in Chicago, and it's just going to be too close of a game. With we talked about the offensive line inefficiencies on both ends. It's going to be a lot of sacks. It's going to be a lot of potential turnovers out there on the field. I'm not saying they're going to happen. I'm going to say the opportunities, RJ, are going to be there to be had.
Yeah, I think your guys' best hope, I think the best or the biggest worry for the Raiders is protecting Carr first and foremost. That's the number one thing, is keeping him upright and not flat back and sandwiched between all your great defensive linemen. And B, which quarterback can stay and keeping essentially Justin Fields in the pocket or down, or like throwing out of pocket. Like, you get him, give him time to throw those deep balls that he likes to do. Let him move around the pocket. Let him scramble. We've had nothing but scrambling quarterbacks that we've played all season, right? Like, we have Lamar Jackson, and Jacoby Brissett was able to run all over us. Like, there is a game plan for Justin Fields to beat us. Like, the obvious game plan is like, get him moving, right? Threaten deep or get him moving. Like, the two things that he does pretty well, and that you don't really need to have as much experience, right? Like running your reads and your progression, and sitting in the pocket and reading the defense. Like, no one expects a rookie quarterback to be able to do that. But to take 5 steps, your first read's not there, run, that's hurt the Raiders all season. And it's something he's capable of.
Sure. That can hurt anyone all season. I mean, a great game or a really good game from Justin Fields doesn't have to, doesn't have to look like Aaron Rodgers or even like a Matt Stafford in Los Angeles, right? Like 210, a touchdown, and 40 running yards. I mean, that could end up, winning the Bears the game by 13 points or something. You know what I mean? Like, if he makes no mistakes, it just makes himself dangerous for 2.5 quarters. The defense can take care of the rest. That's the awesome part about being a quarterback in Chicago historically, right? And I think it's safe to say this year the Bears got a pretty solid defense. Again, it's early. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see what happens with injuries, but there's certainly the talent. Soto brought up Quinn earlier before we started the show. There's a lot of unsung talent on that roster that can make obviously plays outside of the Akeem Hicks and the Khalil Macks and the Roquan Smiths of the world.
When we were doing the post game show for the Chargers game, like, Soto was like mid tirade about Alex Leatherwood and all the sacks, and he just stopped talking for a minute. He just stopped and looked down. He's like, "We have fucking Khalil Mack next week," and he just I just saw your heart
exhales
in real life. Like, I physically saw the soul leave your asshole and go into hell.
Well, dude, it's a copycat league. All the Chargers changed from the middle of the second quarter on was blitzing by Bosa, blitzing right next to Bosa. So you chip's not going to work, and having a tight end next to Leatherwood wasn't going to work either. So I see them doing that too. It's like, shit, why wouldn't you? It should fucking work.
Yeah.
And I mean, going back to Fields real quick, just to your point, he doesn't have to complete a lot of balls. Last week against the Lions, he had 11 completions, but there were 12 yards of completion. I mean, he was pushing the ball down the field. He was only sacked one time for as shitty as the line is. I mean, that one time was 24 yards, which means he was running for his fucking life. But dude,
he's hard to sack too. He's sturdy. Like, that man does not want to go down. It's he's exciting to watch.
And that's the thing that I really wanted from from Carr in previous years, which he's doing more this year, is under pressure. He's looking to make the defense pay. He's looking to push the ball down the field. Now he's not looking. Fields is not looking to check down. You're getting him on his horse and you're getting him running around. He's going to look down the field for somebody. And when got a couple of guys out there that can get up and get the ball. So I mean, stranger things have happened than Fields going off.
Well, it would be.
Oh, absolutely.
He would need an abnormally good game. Like, obviously, the sample size is so tiny, right? He's sort of playing in 4 games, but like his longs in his last 4 games for rushing: 11 yards, 7 yards, 10 yards, 3 yards. Right?
Yeah, he doesn't look to run, man. He looks to throw. He looks to push the ball. That's what he wants to do.
He looks to go deep too. That's why Cole Kmet and the tight ends don't hardly have no work this year, because it's, and that's not to say it's go big or go home. It's not like that. I think he's he's young, but I think he's extremely thoughtful quarterback. Like, I think he's a true blue quarterback, like you said. I don't think he's run first or anything like that. I think he's a student of the game. I think he very much loves the position that he plays, even though he made the comments about, I don't know if any of us are going to be on the planet 10 or 15 years from now, let alone being the quarterback of the Chicago Bears. I like him. I like him, man. And I like what he's about. And yeah. He definitely is not a check down guy, Soto.
Yeah.
At least not from what I've seen.
If he stays in the pocket, I honestly like our chances more than him scrambling. I mean, he's 25 of 52, 48% completion percentage, 347 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks. Like, he would need
limited, not a full start or any belief.
Size.
Yeah, all that. Right.
He's now got a full week with the first team offense, right? We have
maybe he learned how to check down. Maybe he learned how to use his tight ends.
We have
maybe anyone who has Cole Kmet,
our number 3 corner injured, right? So that's going to help him a little bit. Like, they're not.
Yeah.
Could their backup run the ball? Like, he's going to get a lot of opportunities, and that's what I'm saying. Is like it would be not what we've seen of Justin Fields just in 4 full quarters. It would have to be something that we haven't seen of Justin Fields yet.
Well, I think Bears fans have seen glimpses. He had a deep ball. I think it was in the Detroit game. I mean, again, you talk about standards. That's where we're at. You just want to see flashes of brilliance, and then if you can put it together for a quarter or two, that's when Bears fans will really lose their shit. So we're waiting on that breakout game for Justin Fields. If it comes against a deep, injured, hampered, salty Raiders team after obviously this past week, it might not be the worst thing. I'm here for it. It's like Soto said, I wouldn't be surprised if, Fields went out here and hung one on the Raiders and really blew up, had his first great game on Sunday. The table, I think, in some ways is set for it. Maybe my expectations are a little inflated. I'm excited. I'm an excitable guy.
The thing is our best shot defensively is to keep him on time and don't make him scramble around. Keep him in the pocket, keep him throwing the ball on time from what he thinks is on time and just reacting to the throws. Because once he starts scrambling around, it's a fucking fire drill, man. And with that cannon of an arm he has and the way he can just keep plays alive, that's more dangerous than anything, I think.
Yes, please. That cannon arm is something I've only gotten I think a couple glimpses of it. I think it was the Detroit game where we saw him drop a bomb to I think it was Mooney. I'm not positive on that. I have to. It was. Yeah, me too. It's just we watch it differently. I watch it with like veins popping out of my neck and a very purplish hue of a face, and you watch it because you're going to be facing the Bears later in the season.
Veins
you're looking
out of my dick with a purple head as I'm jerking off, so that's finally getting some offense going. That's what I'm looking for.
Also, can I ask you about your tweet earlier in the week? Hunter Renfrow is the type of guy that you want banging your sister. What the fuck is the matter with you? What do you like? What is going through your head when you're watching football, bro? Like you're watching the Raiders. What the fuck?
He's like the best guy ever. Everyone says he's like a great teammate.
I'm sure you did, Soto, because you're a good friend, and you're trying.
Sat next to him on the sideline and is like, "You're the most reliable teammate I've ever had. Respectful. Like my sister's gonna have to bang somebody. Why not be a great guy?"
I absolutely love his sister. I'm just like, what are you doing, dude?
No. I love his sister's awesome, right? The explanation is awesome. That is steeped in logic, fact. Everything that RJ is saying right now is true. I want to know why the fuck you're thinking about that during a Raiders game. Like, where is the joining of those worlds? Why is that the thing that you tweet? Why did that come to your head? How do you watch football?
I can't defend you,
based
RJ,
on
please.
which one of my family members should be having sex with who. Isn't that how everyone watches football? Why is this? Am I the weird one?
So would
like,
you want your
my
mom
mind,
banging?
my
Would you
mind
want your
went
mom
from
banging
A
John
to B
Gruden?
to C to D to E to F to G to H, and so
Uh-huh.
like I was at H, and I just didn't fill in like.
Okay,
B
let's
G.
play this game. Let's play this game. Let's
No.
play this game. Do you want your mom banging John Gruden? Is that a bang? Is that a stepdad Johnny? Would that be okay?
Absolutely, stepdad John Gruden. That'd be awesome.
Are you saying that because he's $10 million a year, John Gruden? Or do you
That's
think
a
he's a
big
man
part
of
of it.
character like Hunter
part of it.
Renfro? And you could say whatever explanation you just gave.
You would not want any of these guys as your like in-laws. Come on.
I would.
Hunter Renfro as your brother-in-law.
The money, yes. The money, absolutely. I mean, I'm surface level. Yeah, the money. I'd love to have someone with NFL money in my family. That'd be the shit. That'd be awesome. So,
But
yeah,
then, like,
sure.
back to the original, like Hunter Renfro, like everyone raves about him, what a great guy he is. He's overcome so much. His teammates say he's the best teammate in the world. Seems like a great, good
Sure,
dude.
man. Like I said, it makes sense. You sold me on it. I still don't understand why these are the type of things you're thinking about during a football game.
Because that's the best way to describe a good guy. Like, that's the best compliment. I think that's one of the biggest compliments I can give somebody. It's like, man, you're awesome. Like,
You're fucking
was
weird,
that
bro.
Full Metal Jacket? You can come to my house and fuck my sister. It's actually like one of the
That
best compliments you can give somebody.
That's where the correlation is. So
Have you ever been given the
I think we
compliment
kinda found
so
a way.
big that a dude said, I would love for you to date my sister? I've never been given that good of a compliment. I'm not that good of a guy. Hunter Renfro, that good of a guy.
Okay.
Did I explain myself?
Ryan, I just have to say okay. Sometimes you say okay.
Yeah.
just move on.
You just,
Okay.
yeah. I don't know if we move on or if we end the show or however it goes, but yeah.
Side bonus,
it's something.
Hunter Renfro might be in the like very, very rare tier of really, really, really good football players that I might be able to beat up.
Yeah.
That's
He's
also
about
how he
my
watches
size.
football. He's also insane. He's also insane. Like you're almost 40.
Crazy does
These
me
are high
good.
level, multi-million dollar athletes built on speed and power and explosiveness and quickness, right? And you're like, I can take him. I'd also let him fuck my sister. Like, you are one of the most insane sports fans I have ever spoken to in my entire life.
Do you think he could stop my double leg takedown on a field?
I don't know, man. I don't care.
I have it. So RJ is the final boss, and if Hunter Renfro
In his
can beat him up,
in his own game. Yeah,
Yes,
in his own game.
If Hunter
Yeah.
Renfro can beat him up, then he gets to fuck his sister.
I say it's opposite. If I beat him up, you have to marry my sister, and now you have to be my brother.
Whoa, she's the consolation prize?
No, this is me winning him as a brother-in-law.
I don't know.
I care more about him being in my family than
I'm not in that. Take me out.
This is one of the Soto. How long you known RJ? It's a long time, right?
15 years.
you
maybe?
guys brought it up.
Yeah.
You wanted to talk.
Is
you
this
wanted
not one of the
explanation, I'm giving it to
weirdest?
you.
Is this not one of the weirdest conversations you've ever had with him? I've known him a long time, 10 years, 11 years. Yeah, definitely up there.
Strangely, no.
No, not even top 10, huh?
I have had a lot weirder.
Not even the weirdest conversations we've had on this show.
Oh, yeah, we've had a lot weirder on the show.
Well, God help
I
you.
don't
man.
understand
Obviously
how you
haven't
guys don't
been
understand
listening.
this. Like, Hunter
No.
Renfro's a good guy, and I want him in my family.
I got to listen to him enough on SiriusXM. We do shows together. Full disclosure to anyone out there listening. RG and I do mixed martial arts shows occasionally together. We do. We are on the same channel, and I do have to put up with a lot of his insanity, but it's always through the lens of fight sports, which is honestly kind of a different, like, he's never talking about fighters fucking his sister. He's never like,
Remember, not my sister. I did say Chris Weidman. I would allow Chris Weidman to have sex with my wife as long as she was immediately impregnated with a son, and I got to raise the son as my own. Because she loves Chris Weidman.
Jesus fuck.
Imagine the stud
So
athlete
bad.
I'd be able to raise.
This is so
if
bad.
I had a Weidman Jr. under my wing. With my crazy and his physical abilities, the UFC champion.
I can't even I want to get my mind off. I am thoroughly in love with his sister and his wife. I love them to pieces. I have that. I have that picture in my head now. I can't do it. I have the sound in my head.
the shit I've heard you guys say, you guys are like so baffled by these like very logical statements that I'm making. I don't get it. You guys are the weird ones. So when we had Jimmy Smith on before the Steelers game, Ryan, we made a bet on the game. Yeah. And the bet was if the Steelers won on my SiriusXM show, we had to play the Steelers fight song in and out of a break. Okay. And if I won, I got to write a 100-word essay that Jimmy had to recite on air. And of course I won.
Is it Jimmy or Anthony? You said Anthony, so this was Jimmy Smith. Anthony?
Jimmy Smith.
Yeah.
The Steelers Smith,
okay.
Right.
Okay.
And he did it. Would you like the same steaks, Ryan? Altered steak? Do you have a?
No, I want promo. I want promo for promo. Promo for promo on our station. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so the loser has to read a 100-word paragraph, essay, soliloquy, whatever you want to call it, on their show. Yeah. Me on Tuesday, you on Wednesday.
Yep, that's going to be the bet.
Done.
Okay.
Their handshake.
It's a dirty hand.
I
don't know where that hand's been.
Yeah, you do.
I know where his hand's been. That's why.
Oh my God! What an interesting show.
I feel like we learned a lot about each other.
Yeah, it's a bonding experience.
You guys need to expand your minds a little bit and accept like what's like how families are made through football bets.
And I mean, cuckolding your sister out to NFL players? Cuckolding is the wrong word because that would mean your sisters together.
Matchmaking.
Yeah.
Matchmaking.
Sure.
Yeah. Cuckolding would be the wife.
Betrothal.
Yeah, right. I know. That's why I said it was a bad choice. But it's creepy like that. I'm not kink shaming. I'm sorry if anyone's into cuckolding out there listening. Listening to the Autumn Windbags. I apologize. I don't mean that. That's just.
If there are any cuck queens out there, I'm available.
I don't know if there will ever be a better end to an episode that you guys do.
Sick fuck of this crew. Sick fuck.
I keep my shit low, bro.
He's smart enough to hold it back and not put it on audio and video like your dumbass. Talking about selling your sister out.
Hey, you guys can be fake selves on podcasts and shows. I'm going to be me, and that's what I've been doing my whole life. And
it's a man of substance. Yes.
Man of oh God.
You leave your weird sick shit to back alleys in the dark web. I'm going to put it out for everyone to see. All right. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Soto.
RJ.
Until next time, knock on wood if you're with me. Hey, Windbags. If you want Darren Waller to catch 20 touchdown passes this season, don't be afraid to click those subscribe, like, share, and comment buttons. Plus, your comment could be featured in the next What Up, Windbags?